Hi guys, how's everything going? Do you follow my tips about learning English? I hope you do. Oh, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sedef, and here on YouTube I teach how to speak English easily and correctly. So, what I do in my videos is basically to tell a story and then ask a lot of questions about it. By doing this, your brain starts thinking in English. Another thing that is important is that I make the stories super easy. Of course, I do this for a reason. If the story is too difficult, then you'll begin to translate from English into your own language and vice versa. But I don't want you to translate anything. You should be able to understand the question easily in English and then answer it again in English. There is no thinking, there is no translating. So, today I want to talk about why you should learn English with your ears and not with your eyes. If you watched my last video, I already mentioned this. But today I want to talk about it even more. Also, I noticed that there are a couple of things I didn't really mention in that video. I also made some notes here. So, let's get started. You guys, when I was in school, the only subject that made me excited and learn more and more was English. And my English teachers were always proud of me. Maybe you think like, oh, it's because you have a talent for learning language. Yes and no. What do I mean? Well, even if I have a talent for learning language, talent is not enough by itself, right? You have to work really hard to get to a level where you speak English fluently and almost sound like a native. I mean, speaking like this is not something that happens overnight, right? I have been working on it for a long time. So, back to the time when I was in school. As I said before, my English was always great. Everything was great at school. But let's say, I wanted to use, really English, or I wanted to watch an English movie. That's when I started having difficulties with my English, right? When I wanted to understand like a movie, I was like, what are they saying? I have no idea. And I don't really know, I don't remember how many times I asked myself this question. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with my English? Right? Everything is great at school, but when it's time to watch a movie, then everything changes. Why? So I kept thinking and asking these questions. And you know what? I blamed myself for this. So when I was in high school, I searched for a way to learn to speak English easily. And I found these great websites where they helped people like me to speak English through listening. I always say, in order to speak English, you have to listen to English. So I kept listening and listening and listening. I found podcasts, I watched cartoons, I watched English movies. Well, the last one was a bit difficult for me at the time, but still I kept watching movies in English. And with time, with listening, my understanding and my speaking got better. Yeah. So, and now I understand those movies very well. So, guys, my point here is learning English at school is not enough. And actually, it is terrible. Okay. One reason is that in school, you only concentrate on, grammar rules and learning with your eyes, right? You have these textbooks where you do a lot of grammar activities and memorize a lot of vocabulary words, right? Again, you are learning with your eyes, not your ears. So, and of course, you have these CDs, right? So you listen to those CDs, and guess what? They are not real people. I mean, they are actors. Okay? So these people talking in these CDs are actors. They don't really speak naturally. Second reason is that these actors don't use idioms and slang when they are speaking, because the English you are learning in the textbooks is formal, too formal. Let me give you an example, a simple example. When native speakers, like Americans, British people, or Australians, they say, I'm gonna go to the store, instead of saying, I am going to go to the store. They say, I'm gonna go to the store. Another example could be wanna. Like when an American person talks, he or she says, I wanna watch this movie or I wanna eat this, instead of saying want to, right? So here, what happens is that going to changes to gonna and want to changes to wanna. So these are just two examples of how real English is different than textbook English, which is way too formal. Third reason is that in school, when you learn English, you go very fast. So in a textbook, you have at least 8 chapters, and most of the time you have 10 chapters. So you study those chapters very quickly. Let's say you are learning the simple past tense, right? But are you really learning it? Deeply? No. Unfortunately, no. You go very fast, too fast. That's why when it's time to speak English to a native speaker, you don't know what to say and you don't remember what you want to say, right? You don't know the idioms, the slang, the phrasal verbs, right? You didn't learn those things. So, the list goes on and on. And I don't want this video to be too long, so let me summarize what I want to say in this video. Guys, I know you want to speak English. I know. That's why you are watching me. That's why you are here. And I'm sure you are tired. You are tired of using the old methods that don't work, right? And you don't really want to spend lots of money on English classes and private English lessons. I mean, the problem here is not really the money, right? I mean, you know that you will still not learn how to speak English. That's why. So, in order to speak English powerfully, quickly, easily, without thinking, without hesitating, you have to concentrate on using your ears, okay? You should listen to lots of things in English as much as possible. As much as possible, okay? Stop memorizing grammar rules. Stop memorizing vocabulary words. Okay? Start listening and start with easy things to listen to. Okay? That way you will really improve your English. And of course, if you really want to go fast, if you really want to improve your English powerfully, then you can use my stories. Okay? I highly recommend following my YouTube channel, listening to the stories, answering the questions loudly. Remember? Okay? These stories will help you learn to speak English very powerfully. This is how I learned, guys. This is how I learned to speak English. And you can do it too. Okay? So, right now, you need a different way. You need a different way to learn. Okay? Stop memorizing, stop studying grammar rules, and start using a much more powerful way by listening, by using your ears. Okay? Well, I guess that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed listening to me. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.